It's been 2 or 3 months since Black Clover entered its final arc, and I have some thoughts on it. Even though the arc has some pretty cool moments, I feel like the pacing is way too quick for its own good, and Tabata is rushing to finish this final arc, and it shows because some plot points have potential to be interesting, but are resolved very quickly, and the paladins are pretty underwhelming in my humble opinion, of course. The first time we saw the Paladins in chapter 334, if I'm not mistaken, we all had the idea on how they could impact the series not only in terms of power, but in terms of characters. Because almost all the Paladins shown to us have somewhat of a connection with the main characters. It could be Sister Lida and Asta, Damnasio and the Black Bulls, Noel and her mother Asiel Silva, and also Nacht and Morgan, of course. It was honestly perfectly played by Tabata at the start. The fact that the characters are still themselves despite Lucy's influence could have made the interaction even more meaningful and interesting. They could have challenged the idea of the main characters and make them question themselves. But honestly, for now, the Paladins have been pretty ass. I feel like they are just devils with better dialogue, which is not great. They feel like nothing villains with no personality whatsoever, or just obstacles for the protagonist to overcome, which is honestly such a mistake because the idea or concept of paladin instans is pretty interesting. For example, the dynamic between Sister Lady and Asa is one of the most important aspects of Asa's character. Tabata was able to turn a gag that was supposed to make Asa a really annoying character to a really good character moment that made him look mature. But after that interaction with Sister Lily in her paladin form, it just boils down to pretty boring dialogue between these two. But honestly, I can let it slide because Sister Lily was never meant to be an antagonist, and she did serve her purpose at the start of the arc by breaking Asta's spirit. So we can say that she was useful. That she was useful. My bad. But Damnasio honestly is such a miss from Tabata because he could have been the perfect antagonist for the Black Bulls, and it would have made so much sense because they have some history between each other, like to the interaction in chapter 218 when Damnasio was first introduced. He clearly has a disdain for the Black Bulls and for Asta, so the potential to write something really interesting about his views on justice was there. Like Lucy shouldn't be the only villain in the arc. Like our arc is massive with characters that are this interesting should all have like the moments. I feel like an extra chapter about him and Asta or him and the Black Bulls of just dialogue could have been so interesting, but he just glows over and he's just a Lucy's puppet, and his dynamic with Asta makes it even worse cause he's just used as fodder to make Asta look stronger. And Asta looks cool. Like I'm an Asta fanboy, he's my favorite character in the show. But what's the point of the paladins being characters that we know if the interaction is going to be boring and not interesting, just like the devils? Like I feel like the paladins are new design of the devils with the same writing, which is such a bummer cause the concept is just really cool. But I still have hope for Asiel Silva and Morgan. I feel like Morgan he cannot miss cause Nacht is clearly one of his favorite characters with the way he's treated him. Like Nacht is one of the best in the show. So I think the dynamic with Morgan would be really like interesting. And Noel, I think Noel is the best character in the show. And there's like no way you can fumble Noel moment. So I'm praying that it works. But honestly, with the way the Paladins are going, I wouldn't be surprised if they get the same treatment sadly. The pacing for this final arc has honestly been all over the place. And not only this arc, but since Spade Kingdom arc, he has been way too quick. We don't have enough time to process the important moments, and then something huge happened. You feel like the story shifted and is giving more focus to cool and raw moments than building up to get there like it used to be before. You would think that Tabata would have shown us Asta at his lowest moment and how he was able to overcome it, but that's not what happened. He is just shown in the next chapter with his new resolve of being the strongest. And honestly, I love the moment. I think it's really cool. But with a lack of context, it holds it back of being even better. And I also think the faster pacing since the Spade Kingdom has been a detriment to the antagonists like the Twin Devils, Maurice, the Dark Triad, and the Paladin. In a vacuum, all those moments are cool, but when you dig deeper, the lack of focus on them with the faster pace kinda makes them bland and not interesting. The reason I think the Lucy's reveal works so well is because the build up that he got throughout the whole story and his direct parallel with Asa and their ideology of being Wizard King is really interesting for us to grab on as a reader. And all those antagonists that I've mentioned before Lucius lack that, and they're pretty boring except Zenon and Dante. But I'm gonna make a super video about Dante and his its mates potential. But I think the antagonist just being bland and boring just for Lucius to appear is such a mistake, because having different good antagonists for the role could have really helped the story, but I guess Tabata had different plans. With all that being said, I don't think this arc is completely doomed. I don't think it's bad. There's some aspect that I really like those Asta moments are really cool, but I just wish we got more context about them. But we will see in December when a new chapter drops in the new Jam Giga magazine. I still have hope for Tabata to go something really good. But for now, these are my thoughts about the recent arc. Hope you enjoyed. Comment down below what are your thoughts about mine. Let's have a discussion down. And thanks for watching and stay safe.